Hello world, I'm Max. Welcome to another episode of the State Copy Podcast. As always, I'll remind you that this content is meant to be consumed in series from the beginning. See episode 0 and each segment appended for all applicable terms and disclosures. Appended segments can be identified by their title prefix, SCP.0. Thank you.
Hey, good morning. It's a beautiful day. Ish. Still got some clouds. Let's see. Today I feel good. Good sleep. 1 or 2 glasses of wine last night with dinner. Still no THC. Feel great. Feel really clear. My bed says, "Do you feel well rested today?" based on my heart stats. So, I do. Let's see. Yesterday, I decided I was going to spend a bunch of time on, I had my kiddo, so it wasn't much of a work day. But I did get some stuff done. So I got a chance to play with training models. Like, I did some research around it, what OpenAI offers. It looks like they have 4 models you can train. They have I'm forgetting the name of them. Ada Curie or something like that. So it looks like you create this file that's called in JSON-L format, and you give it prompts and responses. So you train it on a set of responses to specific prompts. That sounds really hard to... So if I want to take these podcast transcriptions as my seed data to build out training for a large language model, I'm pretty heavily constrained by that. And even more so that you can only... So the words you feed in, they call tokens, and you can only put in about 2,000. The main ChatGPT model, forget what it's called, will take 4,000. But 4,000 words is not much. When I take the pure whisper transcriptions from the first 10 episodes of State Copy Pod, it's like almost 700,000 words. So then I thought, okay, let's see. That's the first 38. So the first 10 worked out to be about 50,000 words. So then I thought, okay, how do I collapse 50,000 words down to 2,000 so that I can... So the idea here being, I want to try and create a chatbot that can simulate how I would respond to ChatGPT prompts using all of the rich state data that I'm capturing through this. So and you got to keep in mind, every repeated idea is... Every it probably counts as a word. So then I thought, okay, well, that's an impossible amount of work to try and shrink that down and to try and just put thought into it. So then I thought, okay, well, that's a fun experiment for ChatGPT. Let me ask it to do it for me. So I set up a prompt that said, okay, I'm going to send you 10 segments of transcriptions podcast transcriptions, I want you to summarize into a training file in this JSON-L. And I gave it the format, and what it did is it didn't create a set of prompts. It created a single prompt that was a summary. So that's flawed. That's not good enough. The summary, when you take an hour of talking and squish it down into one small paragraph, you're not getting any of the richness. So it's too low resolution. I want to play around with it some more. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to see if there's a way I can fool it into giving me the output I want. I think the trick will be playing with the granularity, saying, okay, develop 100 prompts out of this segment of text that accurately capture the sort of like the voice of the speaker. So I'm going to play with that a whole bunch, but I'm a little, initially discouraged. There's nothing off the shelf right now that I can do to train a model that's easy anyways. So the next thing I'm going to do, so I'll play around with what OpenAI offers. I'll try to create, I want to experiment with just one and just see what the output seems like after I train a model up. And let's see. Anything else I can do today on that? I think that'll be enough. I'm just going to try and spend today trying to create the cheapest model and see how long it takes, play around with some of the outputs a little bit, tweak it and see what I get in differences, and then try and, I imagine once I get a model, it's going to take a long time to train it to respond to me the way I want it to. Removing all the boilerplate and the I can't do that answers, and where it just tries. So that's a good project for today. And I think I would like to play with creating a pretty elaborate resume using ChatGPT. There's a presentation maker. Basically, I'm just wallowing in all of the tools that are popping onto the stage all of a sudden in AGI. I'd love it if I could build them, get familiar enough with how to use them efficiently together in interesting ways, to where I could create a lot of value as an IC. Gonna do that. Let's see. I tweeted in response to Kyle Simani today. He asked, like, what was his question? It was, what's a non-consensus view for an underappreciated thesis for 2023? And I responded that MLAGI plus crypto is where the real value is. And I think that's true. I think crypto is a part of the story. That's how we can decentralized trust is a really important technology that is compatible with AGI, I think. I don't think AGI replaces it. I think it snaps into it and makes it more useful. And then I expanded on that with rich state data is going to be the new spice. I think the fact I exist is all the evidence I need that this unique perspectives of humans are valuable and important. I think that there's a lot of work that needs to be done to optimize them first. There's a lot of people that have unique perspectives that are kind of wasted. And if we can get really good at state optimization, then just like as a species, I think that solves the UBI problem. I think when we build all the infrastructure and tools needed to do really rich data capture, and we set up protocols for maintaining levels of privacy that we can live with, or lack of privacy that we can live with, and upload as much rich content as we can of ourselves to the cloud. I think that's going to be, because automation is going to render almost every profession pretty irrelevant, especially after we're at parity plus in human compute. So that was fun to say. I think I will follow up when I get back after this capture with a link to maybe I gotta find out. I do this so often I can't remember which ones. I could have sworn I already published my Kyle Simani story after Lisbon, but I don't know if I did. So I gotta go find it. I did a rich capture after I got back, where I told a story about how I kept bumping into that dude at Breakpoint. And it'll be fun to include that and link to it in that tweet as a follow-up. So I'll probably do that. And my audio capture stopped there. Sweet. That is so frustrating. I think as I enter this THC fast, I'm a good, let's see, I think I started on the 23rd. Yeah, 22nd was my last day with THC, so I'm now, I think this is my 7th day in. This is a feeling or a observation I've made each time since I started developing the interval process I've got. Right about here, I consistently feel like I've got nothing to talk about. I think as you attuned high band, it's just it's difficult to just talk to yourself for more than 20 minutes. I'll probably stop today's capture pretty quick. And I forgot my headset, so I'm not going to be able to offer commentary on anybody else's today. I'll just walk and think to myself. I'll append some segments here if anything comes to mind, but otherwise, we're done for the day. To anybody listening, you're awesome. I know, let's do some Bitch Be Cool. For the uninitiated, Bitch Be Cool is the name of my Discord channel. Two longtime friends of mine. And I feel like there's been a lot of content since last I did this. Let's go back and evaluate. I don't know if this is exactly where I left off. Let's see. Friend A linked something about some new drug called ISO. What you need to know about the deadly new drug. Mid-City News. It's called ISO, short for isotonitazine, a deadly synthetic opioid that is 100x to 1,000x stronger than morphine. And he says, just what we needed for Christmas. Friend B says, I'll take 2. Friend A says, they need a synthetic alcohol to where if you have one drink, you die. I don't think they need that. Friend B says, killing your customers is bad for business. What's the point of this ISO? It's almost like someone made it to kill off all the junkies. Friend A says, what's the point of weed that melts your brain? What's the point of any of these opioids killing people? The world has lost its mind. Friend B replies with a gif of what's his name, Frank the Tank, saying, everybody panic. Friend A says, exactly. Friend B replies, 3 years from now, we'll be fondly looking back at 2022. And actually, Friend A and I both replied with a rolling on the floor emoji. I think Max's voyage, Friend A says, I think Max's voyage into Magic Land was from strong weed. Friend B says, actually hasn't been too bad, I guess. I think I broke some sort of record for most money for least amount of work last week. Friend A makes a comment about his work. Friend B says, slow down, you're doing too much. Friend A says, what did you work, 5? Friend B says, I haven't done any work other than check my email in 3 months. When no one gives a shit about what you do, you don't either. I think he's right. Friend A, living the dream. Finally, I show up and reply to the Max's voyage into Magic Land. I said, I think weed was a part of it, but it was sort of a perfect storm of a bunch of things. First, there's something pretty transformative about 40 to 42. Remember our old friend that at about 42 just punched out and never talked to anybody again? Like anybody he knew? I responded, for me, adapting to divorce with the furious Eastern European that I had a kid with, starting over from scratch financially, moving 3 times, most stressful time of my career by far, being a new parent on my own, new girlfriend, COVID madness all around me, and looking at my own extreme health concerns as a result. There was no way I was going to come out of that on the other side as the same dude. Oh, and making like $5 million and then losing most of it. Took some adjustment. Friend B replies, none of that explains Magic Land, but several years of YouTube, woo, sure does. Raffle emoji. I respond, if you say so, joy emoticon. By the way, jury's still out on Magic Land. Most of those are me making predictions on the next 5 to 10 years. We can't say yet if I'm wrong. Friend B says, I'm not talking about the predictions. I replied, oh, cool then. Friend A says, I'm glad it was a new oh yeah, when I said that about new girlfriend, I said new girl, and then I said girlfriend. And Friend A says, I'm glad it was a new girlfriend instead of a boy girlfriend. I replied, well, me too. I've never been attracted to men physically. Friend B puts up a smiley face. Friend A says, just mentally. Friend B links a topless, pudgy man in a cowboy hat making a pretty funny gesture. I respond, well, not in a romantic way, but I definitely relate better. I feel like, to how men collectively think. Friend B responds, Elon's mind is so sexy. I totally get it. Friend A says, he's the king of Mars. What's not sexy about that? And then friend B puts a Elon gif up. Later follows up with jet-powered blower. I respond with a yes gif. Sweet. So I think some time passed there. Friend A replies with an article about drug prices reaching a new high within drug prices reach new high within the millions. Drug prices, several new drugs, most of them gene therapies, promise one-time treatments, but their price tags will test the health insurance system. This is why if they ever do come up with anything that reverses aging, it will be 1%ers. It will be a 1%er thing. Friend B replies, it always is. Friend A says, 3.5 million for gene therapy. Friend B says, shit like this is a huge contributing factor in why people distrust science and cling to snake oil. Single payer can't get here fast enough. In the meantime, woo sellers will enjoy their huge audiences and massive profits. I replied with a picture of the Wicked Witch of the West, and I said, all the world is evil! Exclamation point. Friend B says, are you like being sarcastic, bro? I replied with a big joy emoticon. Friend A says, insurance doesn't have to pay for it, but if they start it, just causes everybody else to suffer with insurance rates. Friend B says, K? QUE question mark. Friend B says, I'm saying insurance doesn't have to pay for gene therapy for people. Friend B says, probably won't ever. Friend A says, then it only is for people with extreme amounts of money. Friend B says, but the pricing of drugs is totally bonkers. It's a systemic problem that can only be solved by dismantling the system, anti-aging magic drinks aside. At this point, I show up and said, well, I hope we figure it out. Every human is super important in my theory of everything. Friend B says, your theory is way off. I replied, possible thumbs up emoji. Friend B says, we can't even afford to think of every human as important. Friend A says, it comes down to what is an acceptable profit for the pharma companies. Friend B says, overpopulation is so bad, an effective anti-aging treatment available to all would cause a wholesale collapse of every society on Earth. Friend A says, well, it just bumped me all the way down to the bottom of the thread. Damn it. Stop talking, you two. You're messing me up. Boy, I'll clip this bit out. Rare edit needed. All right, I think I'm caught up. Friend B said, overpopulation is so bad an effective anti-aging treatment available to all would cause a wholesale collapse of every society on Earth. I wasn't here for this bit, but I would have replied, we're going to solve these problems with our tech. We'll find new worlds. We need to anyways. Friend A replies, but yeah, pharma is seen as somewhat evil. Friend B says, because it is. That still doesn't change the fact that in terms of actually treating anything, it's the only game in town. Anything you connect with a profit motive will be abused. This is the way. Friend A says, prayer always works. Friend B says, yeah, it works every time except when it doesn't, which is always. I replied, there is no good or evil. Friend B says, but I do understand why people turn to magic. I wasn't talking about good or evil, anything. I guess pharma. Happy face. Friend A says, but I do, Friend A says that there is good and evil. Man, stop talking. You guys are messing me up. There is good and evil, metaphysical hippie guy. I responded, I think the universe just works on incentives and gravity. Friend B says, Jeebus is good. Satan and hippies are evil. Okay. Best Cartman. I follow up with high pressure and low pressure systems. Friend B says, this is far too simplistic to be a viable hypothesis. I respond, it has no perception. The universe has no perception of good evil. And then I replied, is it? I feel like it was a pretty viable hypothesis. He replies, yeah, it is. Humans aren't water or air or shit like this. There is a great deal of agency in self-aware creatures that can fit various definitions of good or evil. I haven't found a situation yet where that isn't the case. Example. He replies, friend B replies, let's say I decide to commit a violent crime. Something totally senseless. Friend A says, a chomo touching your kid. Friend B says, how does your low-high pressure hypothesis cover that? Oh, I see. There's a low pressure in a mall and a super high pressure in my AR. So the low pressure will basically attract bullets from the high pressure AR. You're right. Checks out. I replied to friend A's, a chomo touching your kid. I said, deeply evil to me, the father, and most other sane humans around me, but not to the universe. In most cases, when horrible things like that happen, they shape the victim either in the negative, and I put in parentheses, mostly this for youngsters suffering this fate, or they adapt powerful defenses and become stronger as a result. My point is, concepts of good and evil are entirely what a collection of humans decide it is. The universe doesn't much care if an asteroid hits us in the next 20 minutes and our entire species is gone forever. Friend B replies, universe got no skin in this. Morning. And they talked and messed me up again. Here we go. Scrolling. Friend B said, so I said, the universe doesn't much care if an asteroid hits us in the next 20 minutes and our entire species is gone forever. Friend B says, universe got no skin in this. We live in a world where concepts like good and evil, as simplistic and relative as they are, totally make sense. I gave a thumbs up emoticon. I said, I think they make sense, but it's important to be able to step back and imagine what we are without bad or good actors. We're cardboard, stale creatures not able to innovate or be complex or interesting. Why are there no good comedians that come from stable childhoods, like even one? Their awesomeness is born from adversity they were subject to as kids. Friend B replies, so we should even encourage evil behavior? Make us all better after all. Man, you haven't really thought this through all the way. I replied, I think I have, but it's a constantly developing view. I don't think we should encourage evil or hardship, but obsessing over how it expresses itself isn't useful. It just wastes life and energy. Again, it shouldn't be celebrated or ignored. I'll give an example. Sam Bankman-Fried. Shit. Even the old guys at the holiday party I was just at are talking about that guy. Friend A's, I'm going to pause here for big road crossing. All right, that's better. Friend A says he defrauded a people and they lost their money. Jail. I replied, sure, but honestly, that's where I stopped giving any shits about the guy. Friend B says, yeah, we should be vigorous in prosecuting people like him, and many others too. I replied, I think regulatory action and sanction is mostly a waste of time. I'm not saying he should keep any of the money he stole or be celebrated in any way, but if it wasn't him, it would have been someone else. Friend A replies, we have rules of society that are of a varying degree. He broke them, so he gets punished, a deterrent to others. That's because society hasn't got on board with capital punishment for white-collar crimes. I replied, there was a low-pressure system forming around financial innovation. Centralized exchanges were an essential tool for bridging the old monetary system to the new monetary system. But they were allowed to do other things without any transparency. That totally negates the whole purpose of decentralization. It's supposed to remove trust and lack of transparency from accounting and monetary. If it wasn't SBF, it would have been somebody else. The incentives were too great. Morning. Now, because of this implosion, all of the developers and VC bankrolling the build-out of this essential tech have completely pivoted. CEXs, CEXs, centralized exchanges, all are doing proof of reserves and liabilities, or are starting to figure it out anyways, I'll add, and aren't being allowed to run their own separate hedge funds, etc. Crypto is still less than 1,000 or 10,000th of markets. This all needed to happen before any massive TVL can move over. From a certain view, SBF exposed and demonstrated a huge flaw in how that tech was evolving. In just a couple weeks, everything is adapting around this shared understanding. Crypto will now be immune to SBF's vector of attack and become exponentially stronger, not because of his sentence. Friend A replies, I would argue that he exposed the fraud that is crypto. I responded, but because no one will invest in or use follow-up to what I was saying above is, but it's not because of how Sam will be sentenced. It's because of no one's going to invest or use a thing that has that vulnerability. Friend B or friend A, and then I responded to what friend A said about crypto being a scam. Said, nah, man, all the DeFi things work perfectly. It's open source auditable code. None of that stuff was proven to be complicit or suffered loss as a result. And then I follow up, and now the whole industry is adapting to that, and it's healthy, a super necessary change. Centralized exchanges will always be subject to the sort of corruption SBF demonstrated. Tons of people in crypto have been warning about it for a while now. Honestly, I don't give a shit what happens to SBF now. How he's punished doesn't really influence how things will play out in crypto from here out. If you were right and it's all doomed to fail, then it won't be because SBF got off easy. It will be because it was a flawed approach to a problem. Friend A says, well, he caused you to directly and indirectly lose money and help delegitimize crypto to the general population. I replied, friend A, in my view, crypto adoption is inevitable. It's only a matter of time. And I don't think it should happen until huge vulnerabilities like corrupt centralized exchanges have been shaken out. Friend B says, you should spend some time in a regulation-free country. It will change your mind real quick. I say, I only lost 20 SOL in the FTX collapse. 200-ish bucks at today's money, because I understand the whole point of the tech is to self-custody. Friend B says, in my experience, there's been a strong correlation between how nice a country is and how well it regulates certain things. Even all the stock market rules we have and the SEC, it's there for a reason. Because before all that, it was highway robbery all along. I replied, the SEC hasn't served the people in a long time. Friend A says, and the stock market is still rampant with fraud. Crypto more so because lack of regulation. I replied, they went after Kim Kardashian and made deals with SBF on the back end. Better to build a system that we can all audit in plain view. We suck at regulating stuff. Friend A says, all the SEC has to do is start treating crypto as a security and poof, most of it goes away. I respond, why haven't they done that yet then? That's a really good question to ask. He replies, ask XRP. I replied, I think the only available option on that multiple choice are impotence, corruption, conflict of interest, or D, all of the above. I think that's true. And then I said, XRP is nothing, and it's had them tied up in court for years and years. And it's one of the more corrupt of thousands and thousands of projects. Are you betting they will suddenly become immune from corruption and super competent by orders of magnitude? I am not. Joy emoticon. Too much magical for even me. Friend B says, the idea that crypto will somehow self-audit against fraud is a pipe dream, and it's been demonstrated so far. And who would prosecute those that break laws? I replied, then you should not buy any. Thumbs up. Friend B says, as imperfect as the SEC is, it's all we've got. I replied, Friend B, if you spend a bit more time really understanding the SEC's purpose and actions over the last 30 years, I think they'd be super high on your big list of evildoers, deserving of contempt and punishment. Friend B says, I totally think they are. SEC's purpose is to protect rich people's money first and foremost. I gave a thumbs up icon. And keep the plebs out. Friend B says, But the absence of the entity like the SEC or the FTC, everyone gets defrauded all the time. And exactly that has happened in completely unregulated crypto market. It's kind of like the pharma industry. Just because they are flawed as fuck doesn't mean I'm going to get on the snake oil bandwagon. I respond, I don't think these regulatory bodies do anything but spend our tax money to serve a lot of their own corrupt purpose. Mostly the market governs itself. Not in a pure or ethical way, or because of any commitment to fairness. People with money risk it to grow more money. If they make a bad bet, they lose their money. So the ones that hang on to their money, it's because they are good at spotting fraudsters and get expert at identifying sources for legitimate, sustainable growth, and are awarded. Friend A says, there is also reporting and transparency. I replied, those are good things, and companies and endeavors that value those things are typically the ones that attract the most capital, not because they were told to by some bureaucracy. Friend A says, I don't believe in the trust system. I replied, me either. It's why I hold crypto. Friend B says, market will never regulate itself. Every attempt at that in all industries has always failed. Boeing, VW, Exxon, or VW and all other car makers, Exxon and all other oil companies, just some examples among thousands. For-profit entities will prioritize their profit above social progress, priority rights, laws. Friend A says, Jesus, Max, that might be the funniest thing I heard all year. Friend B says, Max caught the libro in caps, Terrian virus. And I'm afraid there's no vaccine for that. Friend A says, and round we go. Friend B says, again, if you like total lack of regulation, I can recommend a few places you should go to live for a year. You'll have a completely different view on the whole topic. It's easy to rant against regulation as you sit there enjoying the fruits of regulation. It's kind of like anti-vaxxers saying there's no need for vaccines because the old diseases have been eradicated. It does not compute. I replied, man, that was triggering. I don't think no rules works. I'm not trying to make a case for anarchy. I'm talking specifically about the SEC's brand of regulatory, saving us all from our own terminal stupidity. Telling companies they can just deforest and pollute at their heart's content because there's a market for it is clearly a place where regulators are necessary and have shown to serve a useful function. And I'm sure there are many other wonderful examples, but the SEC is a scam we are all forced to finance. Friend B replies, and yet remove the SEC and see what happens. It would be chaos. I respond, I disagree, especially post-crypto. Friend A says, crypto is going to save the world more than the DC and Marvel universes combined. I responded with a GIF of a Marvel DC team-up. I replied, I feel strongly that what the three of us think about crypto will have zero impact on crypto's fate. It'll work or it won't. Friend B says, I mean, that is pretty obvious. Everything in this world works that way. Smiley face. Should we stop any discussion on the topic we don't have full influence on? I replied, you'd think so, but most people argue it like their opinion actually impacts the outcome in some way. Not at all. And I said, not at all. I love discussions. I just think that is a point worth voicing. It's never going to be anything if it doesn't actually serve a purpose. I totally agree with you guys on that part. And then we talk about lunch. and wireless and home internet service providers. And let's see. Friend A last night says, "What's up with Soul today?" I responded, "They say Sam Alameda selling some. I don't know though." Shrug emoji. Friend A says, "Solana hits $10, losing 96% of its value in 2022. Damn. I replied, "Not really caring much till it flips over on the trend. I have all the cash I started with in stables ready to buy back in. Honestly, lower it goes, the better for that bag." Friend A says, like Jean-Claude Van Damme. So here I said ETH did something like this, and I overlaid this image of the ETH chart where it did a 97% pullback. And Friend A says it shows basically its first blip and then its second major blip. Friend A says, "I really hope you're right." I said, "No guarantees it plays out like that though." Friend A says, "Maybe crypto sucks, who knew?" I respond, "Nah. Right now is just the casino phase." Friend A says, "What happens if it goes to 30 cents? Is the dream dead or buy more?" Dream not dead, but bottom isn't in yet. I taught myself how to trade so I don't make the same mistakes I did last cycle. I plan to buy after a sustained trend reversal happens, and that ain't happened yet. So I sit and wait. Could take 12 to 20 months before we start moving back up again. A big crash in equities still needs to happen. The Fed will over-tighten. Looks like they already have. Need the treasuries market to seize and loan defaults to happen. Another bigger round of layoffs. Then we'll see some pretty extreme QE and rates will go back to zero. Economy doesn't work if we never encourage lending again. Until that happens, everyone will be too afraid to put any money on innovation. Friend A says, "So you need the economy to plummet so crypto will somehow benefit?" I respond, "We move as a herd." Well, I don't really wish for any of it to happen. I just try and understand the cyclicality of it and place money where I see likely flows. Friend A says, I think of crypto as the absolute bottom. Equities, horse racing, sports betting, then crypto. I respond, money won't flow back into innovation till lending and expansion restarts. That could take a while. I respond, okay, dude, don't buy any then. Shrug emoji. Friend A says, tell me I'm wrong. You try and place words like innovation in the place of crypto. I respond, there is no worst of it. For some reason, innovations like crypto, Tesla, Amazon, Google make people mad in the casino phase at the beginning. Friend A says, I want your plan for redemption. I respond, I have a barbell approach. One side is the further collapse of equities, housing, autos, and then I'm long some commodities, crude, LNG, uranium, and precious metals. I plan to roll profit made there back into crypto, Tesla, NVIDIA, and some new AI codes once the herd goes risk on again. Friend A says, you are uber high risk. I said, well, if you don't have that risk tolerance, then something like long duration treasuries, they've sure gotten the shit kicked out of them. Can do it with ETFs, TLT or EDV. Friend A says, this is no dig, but you kind of remind me as a dude who snorts a lot of coke and is really confident. I said, no coke, not overly confident. Shrug emoji. Just pretty zen about gains or losses. Friend A says, you are playing an ultra high risk category. I said, not really. I don't borrow. I can never be a forced seller. I only play with what I'm prepared to lose, and when I do, I just use it as motivation to learn why it happened so I don't make the same mistake again. Friend A says, so, do you think Tesla is still the premier EV manufacturer 10 years from now? I respond, I follow up before I respond to Tesla that I feel like you're waiting for me to announce I lost my house and borrowed money from a loan shark to buy crypto. That will never happen with me. And I said, I think in 10 years, Tesla SpaceX is probably the most valuable company in the world by a large margin, but it's not time to buy it yet either. Friend A says, no, not at all. I'm not digging on you at all. I want your take because I have maybe a different opinion. I respond, ha, cool. Well, I love the conversation and I like testing my approach with you guys over time, so I can learn how to better play it if what I'm doing isn't working. Friend A says, I think some of these legacy brands like GM are going to push Tesla's shit in soon because of their dealer networks. And right there I had to go to work or run an errand. Okay. Oh, shit.